ওই সামনে এটা কোন দিকে আইটি এটাও রাম রাম আচ্ছা এই লক্ষ্মীটা যখন সেখানটা নিজেদের কোশ্চেন আনসারে একটা মাইক নামিয়ে দেবে আর দুটো মাইক এখানে যারা থাকবে দুটো মাইক একটা ওয়ার্ড একটা হবে তাহলে কি একের পরে দুই বা একের পরে দুইকে ট্রান্সফার করে দেবে সেইটা সিকোয়েন্সটা বলে দিলে যে সেই ডিপার্টমেন্টকে দিয়ে দিল কোঅর্ডিনেটরকে ট্রান্সফার করে
মাইকটা কিন্তু
তারপরে যে বিয়েতে বিজয় আছে কেন দেখে নিন আপনি কালকে রাম বসে যাও হচ্ছে ওইখানটাতেই বসে যাও একদিনে
Ici and Chief Advisor of Dr. B.C. Roy Society, respected Principal BCRC, Principal BCR APC, Principal BCRCE, Principal BCRP, Honorable Vice Principal BCRC, respected Registrar BCRC, BCR APC, BCRCP, BCRP, Honorable Heads of the Departments, faculty members, and my dear students of Dr. B.C. Roy Engineering College, Durgapur. It is a glorious moment for us as we are proudly celebrating Silver Jubilee this year, and as a part of this great event, today we have gathered here for an interactive session on global ICT industry scenario, Indian landscape and NASSCOM's role in the promotion of the ITES industry in India. NASSCOM stands for National Association of Software and Services Companies. It is a non-profit organization that promotes the growth of India's IT and BPO sector, supports the growth of India's IT and BPM industries globally, fosters partnerships that expand domestic and international market opportunities, and serves as a vital platform for IT BPM stakeholders to collaborate, connect, and promote best practices for growth. The objective of this interactive session is to spread the awareness of such activities among the students of our institution for their future endeavors. Without much ado, now I would like to call on stage Honorable Chief Advisor, Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitro, respected Principal BCRC, Dr. Sanjay S. Pawar, Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee, Honorable Guest of Honor, Sri Pradeep Mukhopadhyay. I request the student volunteers to guide the dignitaries to the stage. We would like to welcome our honorable guests with flower bouquet and uttorio. I would request Advisor Sir to felicitate Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee with a flower bouquet and uttorio as a token of love and gratitude from our side. I would now request Principal Sir to felicitate Sri Pradeep Mukhopadhyay Sir with flower bouquet and uttorio as a token of love and appreciation from our end. May I now invite respected advisor sir of Dr. B.C. Roy Society to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Good afternoon to dignitaries, Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee, Mr. Pradeep Mukhopadhyay, and Principal of the BCRC for present in the dais, and those who are at the audience, General Secretary of the Society, Durgapur, Treasurer of the Society, Jardal Singh, Principals of other colleges, and officials from other colleges, and most important stakeholders for today's program, the students. Now you know that this is the time for observing and celebrating 25 years of existence of this engineering college. And as a part of this, we have conceived several programs by which we can get more this networking opportunities with the outer worlds and bring expertise, wisdoms and knowledge of different experts, different persons of visions here for your enrichment and for your development partner. Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee, he is now holding the position of this chairman of Eastern Region of NASSCOM, and I have strong connection with him for so many years, as because we share a common vision, common dream, along with Mr. Mukhopadhyay, who is the former managing director of Webel Technology. So we shared a common vision that we need to bring entrepreneurial culture and professionalism in our existing educational systems. So with that purpose, we try to revamp our educational systems by bringing numbers of galaxies of professionals from different fields, and for interaction with the students and to support them in all their enterprising and entrepreneurial endeavors. So that was the journey, and we believe that this is the major requirement for this country, particularly from the educational sectors. We need to generate a numbers of job givers. We need to generate a number of enterprising minds, innovative mindsets to take up the challenging scenario of the present and future, and to bring this country in the right track. These policymakers and the governance of this country has long had a big vision to make this country way ahead in the path of development, to make it what in 2047 as one of the third largest economy, without much gap with the second largest economy of the world. And that is possible only if we can churn out or leverage the potentials of this existing generation, because this is the time for you after maybe 1 or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years you will be entering the job field, and the job field nature is changing, and job field nature will be emerging as opposing with new opportunities and new challenges. So how to take care of that, and how to develop these new things to take yourself and as well as the industries and societies ahead of the competition. There is a management theory which is called blue ocean strategy. That means that we need to develop an area which is free from competition. We can enjoy monopoly with our own innovation, our own strength. And Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee is the right person for, because he is associated with so many bodies, policy making of the government systems, and advisory capacity with industries. He has his own entrepreneurship in this country and outside this country, US also. So we can have these chances of getting real life knowledge, realistic knowledge, which is required for absolutely required for our development and growth. You see, we read something, we study something, but it is being said, even NASSCOM opines that when we enter the job field, there is a wide gap between what we have learned and what is being practiced at industry. So that gap needs to be bridged, and that for that purpose, we are trying to level best to bring in professional cultures in our existing system. So without taking much time, I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee and Mr. Mukhopadhyay for taking up this task of responding to our call to come over here and addressing yourselves. And I think it will be an exciting session, and the session will be different, I can tell you. This presentation which Sanjay Chatterjee is going to give, that will be 100% interactive. And how technology is being applied, and how presentations of future is coming up. This is also learning. This will be also learning lesson for many of us. I have seen NASSCOM presentations and presentations of these sorts of these occasions, but probably many of you will be witnessing an engaging session, and that is required. We need a deep engagement of all of our students. All the best for you, and wish you a happy, enriching learning session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for an insightful welcome address. We are honored to have amongst us Sri Pradeep Mukhopadhyay as the guest of honor. May I now have the privilege to introduce him to the august audience. Sri Pradeep Mukhopadhyay is having technical and management qualification from reputed institutions with more than 40 years of experience in central PSU, state PSU, corporates and multinational organization in different technology domain, and also in various capacities like National Service Manager, Director, Vice President, CEO in national roles, SBU head in different geographies. He is the former Managing Director of Rebel and Senior Advisor of Magat. He has worked with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for more than a decade on production, assembly and testing of avionics systems of fighter aircraft and missile systems. Mr. Mukhopadhyay is trained in France in multiple occasions on avionics systems. He has long experience in manufacturing, assembling and testing of process control instruments and systems. He was responsible for national operation for MNC Medical Equipment Company and reputed IT company as National Service Manager and the Vice President respectively. He was the project director for Pan-Africa project for e-health and e-education project of Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, to connect 52 African countries with Indian universities and super specialty hospitals, and was also responsible for Census 2011 national project. He had served as the Managing Director of West Bengal Electronics Industry Development Corporation, West Bengal, a state nodal agency for Department of IT and E, Government of West Bengal. Mr. Mukhopadhyay was also responsible for implementation of IT and electronics policies for the state government, promotion of IT and electronic industries in West Bengal, and implementation of IT and electronics projects in government departments. On superannuation, he joined Maulana Abul Kalam Azad University of Technology, formerly known as University of Technology, West Bengal, as the senior advisor to look after various activities including innovation, incubation, government projects, taking regular classes for undergraduate and postgraduate students for IT and Management Science Department, other academic activities, and many more. We are overwhelmed to have you amongst us, sir. Sir, please come to the podium and address us again. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Am I audible at the back? Okay. First of all, Honorable Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitro, the Chief Advisor of B.C. Roy Engineering Society, and respected and beloved Sri Sanjay Chatterjee, and respected Professor Dr. Sanjay S. Pawar, the General Secretary of B.C. Roy Engineering Society, Mr. Torun Bhattacharya, the Treasurer of B.Tech Engineering Society, Mr. Singh, the respected principals, vice principals, other dignitaries, and my dear students. Love you all and wish you best of luck. Okay? You all have heard about ICT technology, right? ICT stands for what? Information Communication Technology or Information and Communication Technology? Any answer? It is Information and Communication Technology. Had there been no communication, information technology would have been zero. It would have been isolated. Right? That is why C stands at the middle of ICT. So C is of immense importance. Mr. Sanjay will speak more about the ICT's progress and futures and global scenario, national landscape and all. But I just want to emphasize on C, which is the most vital part of ICT technology. Had there been no C, what kind of situation could have happened? I have a small story. It's a comical story, of course. It's like that. A young couple married almost a year back. Some sunny day, husband went to the office, wife is at home. They started talking maybe around 11:30, 12 o'clock in the daytime, and they suddenly picked up some quarrel on some issues. And finally, the wife said that I am fed up with you, I am going back to my mother's house. That happened around 12:30 kind of time. Around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, husband thought that probably I have said something more. Wife also thought that probably I have also said something more, I should not have said so much. So husband thought that, okay, what I will do, I will send a small handwritten note expressing my love for her and send it to her mother's house to personally hand over through one of my colleagues. So what did he write? He writes, darling, I love you and please stay with me. And he handed over that particular paper in an envelope and given it to his colleague. So his colleague could see what was written in that piece of paper. So just to please his boss, he also added another line. I only want to stay with you. I only love you. So finally, he landed up at the wife's parents' house and knocked. Some young lady had come out and he handed over the paper to her. Meanwhile, wife thought that probably I have said something more. It will not be good to go back home. So she stayed back home. And the lady who collected that paper was her sister. So her sister got the message, darling, I love you and I want to stay with you and I only love you only. Right? So what is the message I want to convey here? The timely communication of message is important. The content of the message to be confidential, cannot be tampered, and the message or information should go to the targeted person. The communication solely does this only. On-time delivery, real-time delivery of information. If these are not there, then communication was not proper. That's why Titanic sunk, because the information did not reach in time. Bangladesh could not be separated because if the proper information would not have come in time, because US Naval 7th Fleet was on its way. and the information reached to Russia, and Russia in time intervened. Had that not happened in time, Bangladesh would not have been liberated. So, I am just trying to impress upon that information technology, no communication, no collaboration, no data transmission, no email, no mobile, no multiple channels you see. So communication, without communication, information technology is almost nil. Even for AI also, you have to fetch the data from different data centers. So it is very important to understand the communication is at the center point of ICT. Many other examples are there, but with this brief note, I would now introduce Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee. Mr. Sanjay Chatterjee, he is an engineer with experiences from Tata Motors and Tata Technologies. Sanjay started his entrepreneurial journey almost 15 years ago, founding Ideation Technology Solution, Ideal Analytics Solution, NTOB Technologies, and startups in the domains of defense, healthcare, transportation, and environment technology, developing software products and solutions in the areas of analytics and data sciences, IoT, and enterprise mobility. Sanjay is also the chair of NASSCOM East. Sanjay received his M.Tech from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. He is the co-founder and director of NTOB Technologies Private Limited India, Ideation Consulting Private Limited India, Convey Corporation USA, and Convey Advanced Systems India, and he is the founder of Ideation Technology Solutions Private Limited in India. He is part of steering committee member of 10,000 Startup Initiative of NASSCOM and Government of West Bengal. He is the chair of NASSCOM East, Council member East, Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Council ESCI, member of Special SPM Group, Smart Pandemic Management Center, UC Berkeley, governing body member of Ekta Incubation Center, Knockout, West Bengal, member of Board of Studies, College of Management, Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. He is very actively connected with a lot of foreign universities that I have explored today. So with this small introduction about Sanjay, I would like to ask Sanjay to take over the session and mesmerize the audience. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Sanjay, just a minute. Sanjay, you would join this projector. So, sir, we request you to kindly take your seat.
of the dais and students. Before I jump into the topic for today, which is about ICT, industries and trends, I would like to share two stories that had changed my life as an entrepreneur, and that is true for any student, especially engineering and management students. They are in a dilemma: what are they going to do in future, and how far will they go? So these two stories, the first one I read it when I used to work in Tata Motors, and it was published in a monthly magazine of that time. It was named as Telco, so I used to call it Telco It. And this was a story of the last interview of Mr. J.N. Tata. He was admitted to hospital and he was severely ill. He passed away after a few days, of course. And only one journalist he was allowed to ask him some questions. He was repeatedly told, like, don't ask questions whose answer would be irrelevant. Ask very specific questions, the answer should be short. And he was allowed to ask only 3 questions. The journalist got the opportunity. And the first question he asked to Mr. Tata was, what is behind your success? You have built such an empire, so what is behind your success? J.N. Tata raised his fingers, 2 of his fingers, like this, and said, right decisions. And the next question was, how did you take right decisions, sir, always? He raised one of his fingers, said, experience. And the last question was, how did you get experience, sir? He again raised his hand, showed 2 of his fingers, said, wrong decisions. So this is a difference between a businessman and a philosopher or entrepreneur, whatever you want to be in your life, even a professional. This is very important to know, and that really changed my life. The way I never see failure or success, or I don't consider them to be a parameter in my life. The second story was very interesting. I heard it from my uncle here, and interestingly, my business partner in France is a French Jew. He heard it from his uncle in Israel, and the stories were a bit changed, but the theme was same. The story is about a fisherman. He used to live with his wife near the shore of a sea. He was very skilled, extremely skilled in catching fish. So every day his routine was time bound. He used to spend 1 hour in the morning. He used to catch fish, whatever he catches. He used to go to the local market while coming back home, sell half of it, buy things for he and his wife to cook, comes back to his home and stays happily. And that was his life. Every day, 1 hour he used to spend to earn his living for the day. And then suddenly somebody told him that you are having such a good skill. Why don't you catch it for a few hours more? Then he said, okay, I can, but what will happen if I do so? Then he said, hey, if you do so, then if you are ill, you don't have to go and catch fish every day. You can save some money, so you can still take care of your wife's daily need. And he said, yes, you are right. And then he said, what next? Then if you continue like this a bit more, you can save some money. He said, yes, I can save some money, but what will you do with that money? Then he said, with that money you can buy a boat. Now you are catching fish with a net on the shore, but now you can go deep sea with a boat if you have. Then he said, yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, I can. If I put a boat, I can definitely go deep sea, or at least deep sea. Then he said, so then if you've got one boat, you will go for a week, and then you have got the whole month's saving with you. 1 month earning you will get in 1 week's time. They said, yeah, that's true. What next? Then he said, if you have the world, some more saving, then you can buy another boat. He said, how can I drive 2 boats? Well, no, you don't. You get employment. You become an entrepreneur. So So you will give that boat rent to some other guy who will do it for you, and you want money sitting there. Let him, he also wants. And he said, yes, that's interesting. What next? Then he said, like this, you will have 2 boats, then 10 boats, 100 boats. Well, yeah, that's true. After that, what will happen? After that, see, just imagine you've got hundreds of boats under you. You have created an empire. And then you will just spend 1 hour for your business, and then rest of the day you will spend with your wife. The fisherman said, that is exactly what I'm doing now. I spend 1 hour for my living, the rest of the time I spend with my wife. Now this is the philosophy of life. Wherever you go in your career, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, whatever way, you can stop in any of these nodes and nothing is called a success or failure. I consider a roadside kirana store is equally a good entrepreneur and the person who has created millions of employment. He is also same way, they are entrepreneurs. Or even if it is not entrepreneur, as a professional, wherever you decide to go, decide yourself. Don't let anybody decide that. Any point you want to stop, you can stop. That is your wish and your will. I don't know whether this story definitely might impact some of you. I wanted to share this, and I share this with any students I meet. Now coming back to the global ICT industry scenario, where you can definitely Google it or give a command in ChatGPT and get everything, all statistics, graph and all. So let me. So that's why I didn't really decide to show you some statistics. Everybody knows, for example, what will be the, how many trillions will be the, IIT, kind of ICT market size, etc., etc. In 2014, I think it was $6.3 billion, $8 trillion, and India's GDP is 4.7. So you can see, already the ICT market is much more than India's, GDP. But as a student, I don't know how much that will help you. So I have tried in my own way of getting some kind of an interactive session with you so that I know what's in your mind and try to clarify some of the things which might help you in future. So let's start. I think everybody has phone these days. You can scan the QR code and let me know if you've got any issue. You will get to see this thing in your mobile. You just scan the QR code. Some affirmation from, is it possible to scan at that distance? Is it? Most of you, so that I will move to the next session, otherwise we'll miss. I'll give 30 more seconds. Most of you got it? Some years from the back? They are far behind, I don't know. They can reach it. From the back, anybody confirms? Got it? Oh, that's good. Okay. Very short agenda, I will go very quick, okay? But mostly this will be interactive. So, we'll see what we know about, what you guys know about ICT industry. Then we will talk about some emerging trends, technology behind that, in India and global scenario, and of course the future, where it is leading towards, like emerging and future technology areas, what we call skills of the future, the way we we have some data points from there. There are a lot of agencies, they predict the future of technology trends. I'll try to share some of those with you. And of course, this market is very, very volatile, and this is a continuously changing, and that is the beauty of this ICT industry. So let us start with what is your understanding about ICT industry. Can you write in 1 or 2 or maximum 3 words? Don't write a big sentence. What comes in your mind when you hear ICT industry? What comes in your mind? You see this here, if you can write. By the way, this captures the MAC IDs of every phone that you are, giving the response. So it is identifiable. Not now, but later we can just be. Interesting. Yeah, I think we can stop now. We have around 300 responses. So out of this, we can see the terms that is there in your mind is pretty right, in fact. It is a combination of information, communication, technology. See, 5 years back, even the NASSCOM name suggests, right? It's like a software service conglomerate, right? For software service companies. It started with that motto. But do you know, like the 10,000 startup that NASSCOM started 7 or 8 years back throughout India, that has been renamed this year as a deep NASSCOM startups only, but that is targeted for deep tech. So it is no more information technology is being called. ICT is basically transforming to a tech. And we don't call it a decade, we are calling this decade a decade. So the tech, who are not from computer science or IT in this group, for you, it is not really a matter whether you are in civil or maybe metallurgy or mechanical or electrical, doesn't really matter. The whole ICT technology is converging in tech. So this convergence is something that is predominant, and you can see the ICT broadness, which used to be covered mostly IT companies earlier, but now almost all tech companies are coming under this umbrella. And that is a big scope, and there is no stream which can be neglected. And there is no case where there is no use case for that industry in the ICT. Even in agriculture, agri-tech in 2023 and 2022, maximum investments were done in agri-tech. Investment means investment to startup companies. So these proves even the agriculture is also not far behind when it comes to adapt and grow ICT for agriculture benefit. Be it soil testing, be it crop testing, be it environment. So many use cases. I think we got very good responses. Great. Next, which of these fields do you think belongs to ICT industry? I don't know whether you can read it. I think you can read it in your mobile, right? Okay, software development and IT services. We already discussed this. Communication and networking, cyber security, data privacy, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, semiconductor, embedded systems, robotics, IoT and automation, digital media, AR, VR, gaming, deep tech. And the beautiful part is each of these technologies and each of these areas, they are heavily overlapped. What I say heavily, you can't leave one thing behind. You know the current challenge of, you will hear about Industry 4.2 a lot, which is the new or the next generation of manufacturing. You will hear about IIoT, industrial IoT. A smallest size of power plant will have minimum 250,000 sensors. You can't go beyond that. Now imagine, power plant is the subject of what? Mechanical, electrical. So many, every engineering elements are there in a power plant. Piping, architectural, civil, structural, everything, right? And piping is a big thing there. Everything. Be it metallurgy, when it comes to, refractors and all those things, or maybe what you call boilers and all. So in a industry like, say, power plant, these 250,000 sensors are being used. Now imagine, this is the most challenging in the power plant. If a sensor gets damaged, to identify the sensor is the most challenging. Where exactly the location of the sensors? How do they solve it? Imagine the problem is coming from an industry which is not an IT. They are using sensors for digital twin, for example, or something by which they will be able to have their ease of operations, or ease of manufacturing, ease of service, everything, right? So they are the first challenge they face, which is occurring because of some technology area they have introduced, and that is giving them a security threat. Because any of those sensors can be tampered and it will be here. Because based on the value, there will be some actuators which are being changed. If you are using CCHF harness and then some gases are changed because of your some sensor value is tampered with, and you're gone. Earlier it was all mechanical or SCADA, that was much more controlled. But now this control has been much more complex with much more flexibility, and that has taken more challenges, of course, good challenges, opportunities for you guys. And not only for the computer science or IT engineers, it is for all, because now how to solve this? What problem is this? It is a security problem, it's a privacy problem, it is what not. And then, in order to solve this problem, in the first country who adopted 5G in private industries, IIoT or Industry 4.0 was Germany. We have all heard about 5G, right? And now they are using PLT, private LT, and we are using it in defense also to track soldiers. Those are nothing but, imagine like in your university, we are creating a PLT network, which is private LT network, and you have got all cell phones, any cell phone it will do, and you have got a very specific SIM which will work in that PLT environment, and you can communicate with each other, data, voice, anything, video. Imagine that with 5G, with a huge bandwidth, if you are doing this in an industry and utilizing it for IIoT or Industry 4.0, where you are reading sensors based on that everything is happening, automation in one word, that requires a lot of bandwidth, which is not possible just by relying on internet for security and slow speed everything bandwidth. So now they are solving it with PLT, and they are flying drone inside the factory. The drone command is everything is connected to the PLT, so the outsiders cannot tamper their network, because this can be hacked, and now it is not possible. Now this communication technology in the area of PLT, they have increased. Now people have the defense, they have backpacks, PLT, what they call individual packs. So when soldiers move in an area where they don't want to rely on the public radio, and of course not, and even on satellite, which can be jammed. Satellites are not safe because satellites can be jammed very easily. Now how do they move and how do you track? So the commander or some one or two guy, they wear those kind of PLT devices in their backpack, and there is a mesh network, and the whole troop is they are going around the troop. So, and you cannot really hack it because this is running in two silos. And then there are backhauls by which it is in the central command, it is being controlled. Unlimited bandwidth, unlimited. They are flying drones, which is wired drones. Like sometimes the drone power supply is coming from the battery of the jeep, and then the drone is flying. So they are doing patrolling with drones flying, and how the data is being transferred. The high, resolution imagery and video from the drone is getting transferred through this PLT network. So imagine one communication channel, PLT, has changed the communication in silos in such a way that one side defense is getting stronger, other side the IoT or Industry 4.0 in a German company or many German companies, manufacturing companies, they are doing the complete automation, not relying on internet, but their local internet. They are creating a local Airtel or local VI for their own communication internet. This is happening. So this, everything is now ICT. 10 years, 15 years down the line, you will see another revolution which is coming up, which is also one of the worry. Think of, these are very much challenging. The drones, especially the swarm drones. We have seen the Ukraine war, what happens. In radar, you cannot capture the drones which are very low altitude, but naturally. And they are coming up, they are doing the harm and they are going out. It's gone. And now imagine there are internal attacks which might happen to the buildings. And the local security, which small drones running from, you can control them with even iPhone. It doesn't really matter, right? Somebody is hiding somewhere and doing disaster. Now how do you track drone if it is not trackable through radar? In a city condition or in a border where they are having low altitude drones. On the contrary, the benefit of having those drones, already in UC Berkeley and few other universities, they have started doing some pilots where they are delivering goods like Zomato, Swiggy kind of a hyper logistics delivery. They are using drones to deliver things to the doorstep. But imagine that will increase the security in countries like India or any country per se. Somebody go take the drone and fire somebody and comes back. I mean, it's difficult, right? So there, even the technology again, different kind of technology, and none of these technologies are coming from one area. It is a mix. This particularly fighting or identifying drone in a passive way, it's being done with the physics knowledge, which we call Doppler effect, which is signaling, which is a part of some electrical engineering and electronics. So you have got K20, or K-band, KU band most likely. So that is getting reflected in the drone propeller, and that you are capturing with some SDR. You can see millions of signals coming and being captured. From there you use what? Anomaly detection, noise, identification of the signature of the drone, or you are eliminating all the unwanted. Like a bird is flying, you have captured its signature before, so you are eliminating, and from those millions of noise, you are getting the drone signature separate, and for that you are using very complex pattern recognition technologies. In a scenario of a signal processing where the main signal processing and the drone amplitude is in the tune of 1:106, and that is possible through the again technology. So imagine one use case, in order to solve, you need 4 or 5 disciplines to come across and find the solution. Antenna is another one, for example, was used in this kind of solution. You can capture the right signals to SDR. So now what you have given, fields communication, I think this is good. One thing in 13, you have not given good marks here. I mean, hardly 13 people, they have said B.Tech. The whole world is moving towards this now. It's a combination of everything, software, hardware, communication. So B.Tech is the future of IT with engineering, IT with technology. So that's where the whole world is going towards. Whatever you heard about, say, metaverse, digital twin. So digital twin is another example of something. What is digital twin? Say, an oil refinery. We did a project long back, 21, I guess, for a Canadian oil refinery. What is done in digital twin? See, some of the factories, for example, are very, like some manufacturing companies, they cannot afford to have a failure because failures are costly. Refineries are like that. One failure means huge hazard. People will die. You will do billions of loss. You can't just have, luxury of taking this lightly. Right? So there, the challenge is what? Even a pipeline and any oil refinery, the main component of that engineering industry is oil refinery, like pipelines. Other than civil structure, everything is there, but the machineries, of course, those are there. But the piping, to identify leakage and all, and everything being for maintenance purpose, operations purpose, these are very, very challenging. So there, what digital twin kind of technology does, it requires basic engineering drawing. So first you have to create the 3D model. Then you put the engineering data to it. So everything will have a property. It's basically you are creating a clone of people are now doing with human being, and you can do the same thing for machineries, for structural, for civil, for piping, for electric, for sound, everything, right? Which was there existing 20 years back, what we used to call BIM, Building Information Modeling. Now it is mandatory for most of the countries in most of the developed countries, like in US, this is mandatory, in France, even in Dubai, in UAE, everywhere it is mandatory. Like before you build a building or any structure, you do a BIM. Because of your maintenance, you are putting thousands of millions of sensors there and everything is connected, right? And you have got the complete 3D model of that, and when you are starting from the erection, you can capture every detail, every BOM from the day one bill of material is ready. So imagine they are doing for a oil refinery plant which is maybe 5 km by 3 km. It's complex. Once it is done, you can see the simulation. It means whenever there is a fluid going on, its pressure valve, reading also you can see what actually happening on the main real world. You can see it in your virtual world. Advantage? First is security, the safety. Second is even training. The fresh engineers are coming, they will get trained, right? So instead of going to the plant and roaming around, so even they can come and see, and they can disassemble a machine, reassemble it, they can do hands-on with VR, yeah. So if you see this kind of immersive technology, when I say B.Tech is one area, another is immersive is another area. So this immersive technology is along with B.Tech, and this is going to be coming up. And with the invent of Gemini and this kind of technology, the user experience or the user interaction has become much more deeper. Have you heard about technologies like agentic AI, which is using Gemini but doing an automation? Simple thing, these are not rocket science. But the way the technology is fast changing, these are creating some expectation from your end, from you, and the industry is asking something. It is going in a very fast space. But don't consider that you have to learn everything, honestly speaking. Before I go to the next step, I will just tell you one thing. If your basics are clear, if your physics, chemistry and mathematics is clear, everything cannot be difficult. Those are much easier. Whatever engineering, whatever you do in your life, honestly speaking, be it a signaling, radio technology, or be it a code, and don't, for people like who wants to build their career in ICT, don't go by what, really I'm telling you, a lot of people will say, like, industry need this and students should be ready for industry. No, I mean I personally think no, and I can have a debate with anybody on earth on this. If you go to US, if you go to Japan, if you go to France, and a lot of developed countries, what education institutes they do, what universities do, that is adapted in the industry. Who invented Cisco? It was all, who invented YouTube? Everything, be it any technology, be it in defense, everywhere. It all came, most of them originated from universities. So you don't have to follow industry, honestly. If you really know your basics, when you go to industry, you will be able to do it. For that, you don't have to skip things and jump into something that industry wants, forgetting the basics. A lot of guys, when I ask about computer science these days, or IT, or this kind of related, they go for interview with TCS, everything is IT job, for example, most of you. So they say like, what do you know? Somebody will say I know web development, somebody will say I know Node, somebody will say I know Python. But if you ask them the basic things that the industry wants, is the basics. Algorithms, you should know. Data structure, you should know the basic things. Even be it in your subject, if you know the basic physics, chemistry, mathematics, that's good enough. For your information, even Python is written in C. Do you know that? Any language is written in some language. And C was the only language which is basically Scala kind of a thing. C and Unix was mother of each other kind of a thing. Right? So if you really dig down, even Node.js, like you use a lot of people, that was done in C++. So what does it mean? The brains are doing what the basics are. And we are doing it for getting the job. Don't do that, because you will not go anywhere with that mindset, ever. That might give you an initial edge. Some guys you will see they are very smart. In the first year, second year, they quickly lot of things. But don't get carried away with those. If your basics are right, you will get your day one day. I mean, you don't have to bother about anything. There are industries, when you work there for 6 months, industry knows. And let me tell you, as an entrepreneur, it is most difficult for us to make somebody unlearn. And in industry, the most of the time we spend to make them unlearn things which they have learned wrongly. Honestly speaking. Some quickly YouTube channel, see video, have some idea. No, you don't have to learn new things, what is coming. I mean, go step by step. You finish the basic. You know the basics, rest everything will come one by one automatically. Now that is where the biggest challenge of engineering, I mean in the industry where we get the engineering students. You don't have to know. Sorry, you don't have to be master. You just know your basics. Industry, you will get adapted in the industry in no time, I'm telling you, with command. Other way, only short-term benefit, long-term no. Coming to the next question, sorry, I'm giving gyan, but this is what as a student, trust me, I mean, you should not get, this kind of mindset in your life. Yeah, this guy is so smart, he's doing, but I know only good physics. Good enough for you. That is better enough for you, I'm telling you. Okay. ICT components, I just told, these slides are just to, for recap. Emerging technologies, even AI, ML, blockchain, Web3. Anybody knows what is Web3? Anybody, any idea? One thing, another suggestion, be it a tech area, non-tech area, your core subject area, whenever you learn or hear about a new thing, read the history of it. It will clear 100%, not at least 80% of your doubts and confidence. Just read the history of it. Any technology you hear, who invented it, why it was invented, just read it, you will get it in the internet. Anywhere. That will give you the confidence, honestly. See, currently we are Web 2.0, for example, we have information in the internet. Web 3.0 is what is it's not difficult, it is called connected web or semantic web. I mean, I'm not going to the deep technology discussions, but anybody who wants, I can come to later, I can send you some materials later. Digital twin, metaverse, this is another one. IoT, robotics. So these are the things, by the way, these technology areas are basically encompassing the ICT together. Even if you see industry-wise, industry-specific ICTs, like as I mentioned, agri-tech, now there are fintechs, all are now have come to ICT. And of course, now the future ones, like quantum computing, there's lots of research are going on. It is still not yet commercialized to be used in industry as a commodity, but it will be a good opportunity for you to explore if you can. In India, the opportunities are not much now, but take me in 5 to 10 years, this will be huge. Similarly, with computational biology or anything, bioinformatics and space and satellite communications. This is again back to you. Which of these emerging technologies are most relevant to your field of study? Quickly, if I can capture the answer. So the vote is going towards AI and machine learning. Again I am telling you, if you know good statistics, AI is easy. If you know good mathematics, ML is easy. So that will stress that. You try to get those things better and stronger. Rest everything is fine. This example that I was giving for the drone, capturing from Doppler shift different signals, how we take away different signals from the consolidated one. The mathematics that we use is called Fourier series. So that's the practical application we have to use, implement Fourier series there in order to get it. So the implementation of whatever you have learned, you will see all these technologies are encompassed all around that. So whenever you are thinking AIML is your future, be it from any stream, doesn't really matter, it is good. But you can really go to that step if your basics are clear and spend time when you are a student in that more. Not that knowing some libraries. And in your resume, never write that you know this technology, this library. No, that's useless. Thousands of people, I've seen they're making big resumes, 20 technologies, this, my goodness. This library, that library, this 10 web technologies, they will write 20 Python libraries, they will write one word is required. That's it, I know this, one word. Why to make it cheap? That doesn't make any sense. Everybody can learn that. And that's not your positive point. Okay, good, so I'm skipping. This is as per Gartner. I wanted to share this. You can Google it. As per Gartner, the trend in 2025, and this is a global trend. Of course, India is not far behind in this. ICT. Agentic AI, the one I was mentioning. Anything you can automate using technologies like LLM, large language model, is becoming very, very popular. Which is, we used to call it earlier RPA, robotic process automation, which is making some process automated. For example, you are calling some customer service, somebody's phone is not working, so you call customer service of Samsung. Till it is going to the service center, right? The whole process can be automated by a robot, bot, or agentic AI, even voice. So the person who is going to take your call is not a human being. You won't really make out these days. And like earlier, it's like IVR. No, it is not like that. So IVR, they've got a fixed question. Even in bots, it has similarly fixed or maybe with some rule-based. But now this is based on NLP. It is based on exactly how you intend. So it's much more humanish. So agentic AI is something. See again, this technology is not difficult. It's very easy. But what makes it difference is the use case that you are inventing or identifying, and that's what it is more important. AI governance platforms, disinformation security. Disinformation security is another interesting area. Don't go by these jargons. Actually, I just copied it from what Gartner said. But disinformation security is like identifying deepfakes in one word. It is a better way of telling it. A lot of information are there in the internet or social media, anywhere, right? Those are not all true. How do you identify technologically that this is a fake news or fake content? And it could be from anywhere. Somebody is posting it deliberately or by mistake, whatever. So this is another area which is going up very fast. In the computing area, quantum I said, and it comes with the post-quantum cryptography, they said that's much more complex. Ambient invisible intelligence, that is a very interesting, again a big name, but don't go by big name. This is the AI which decides when you are interacting with some system, based on that, it will have some hidden intelligence by which it will change the user experience the way you handle it. It means, say you are using some app. So the app will interact with you and the user experience will slightly change based on your all personalized. So this intelligence it is getting while you are interacting with that particular software. I just gave a bad example, app. It could be anything. For example, the agentic AI I mentioned, right? When he is greeting me or when he is greeting somebody else, it could be all personalized. So this is actually, they call it ambient invisible intelligence. And that's picking up very fast. Energy efficient computing. You have seen recently, right? DeepSeek versus LLM, Llama or ChatGPT. DeepSeek is incredibly smart. Incredibly. 7 MB, or I exactly don't remember now, around 6 to 7 MB. I installed in my laptop. 7-8 MB, yeah, on the same with 670 billion parameters, and then the Llama 3.3 with 70 billion, it had a size of 40 GB. Unbelievable. And this is all algorithm, it is all optimization. It's incredible. I'm not going to the debate whether DeepSeek is fetching data from these things, all that is, keep that aside. But what I'm saying, another one has come out, by the way. I forgot the name, Jim or something. Recently, that is, yeah. So that's more, kind of efficient. Interesting. But again, GenAI now is not the all of AI. GenAI is maybe 0.0001% of the whole AI industry or market or possibilities. It is only one area, which is natural language processing, has been much more, I would say, mature, and that's how we can see a lot of these LLMs are getting generated. But there are 99% of other things. Human-machine synergy, this is, you'll see if you go to US universities and their website, you'll see one of the areas, there are a lot of research funds are coming. I mean, interaction, human-machine interaction in this area. A lot of researches are going on. People are giving command with spatial computing, that is also is coming up, which is basically the spatial computing is again, don't go by the jargon, it is nothing but a digital tool, we are creating a code. That is what spatial computing. And people are using it in gaming, in industry, and even it can be used in medical science. Imagine the students, medical students, they can cut a hole, they can see a hole, they can do a whole surgery without cutting a person. But they can do it physically, so they will have the actual feeling of it if they are with a simulated digital twin of a patient. Polyfunctional robots and neurological enhancements. Next is some quickly about market. Which country do you think dominates the global ICT market? Easy thing, I think all of you should give the right answer. There is competition between US and China. Zero. Interesting. So you don't consider Europe is contributing anything to ICT. It's very interesting. In France, there is a road called Champs-Élysées in front of the Louvre Museum. You know, that's road they call it. Maximum Nobel laureates, they cross that road every day. And you know, interesting, in that road, the other side, there are two stores side by side. One is Bata, another is Bose. They all have mutual connection in some way. Okay, 48%. Yeah, you are right. The China, interestingly, the global ICT market is in United States. It has a market share of, if I'm not wrong, around 34 or 38%, which is predominantly much higher than any countries around. Yeah, so this I have already mentioned, 6.3 billion by 2028 is the market size of the ICT industry, trillion, sorry. And CAGR of 4.7, it is still not the best, honestly. But it is running for so long that even this 5% CAGR is not bad, honestly. So you are safe, you all are safe. So about the Indian ICT industry, which is going a bit faster than the global trend, which is 8.4% year-on-year growth, with 245 billion in 2023. This year data I couldn't get exactly, I mean 24 data, which will be published maybe in soon. And export is, ICT export in India is pretty good, by the way, which is 194 billion, it is 9.1% YOY, it's pretty great. And you know, in India recently there has been a radical shift in the IT industry, ICT in general, or technology in general, for which you should be most beneficiary, the students. Have you heard about GCCs, Global Capability Centers? By the way, GCCs are, earlier what used to happen, there is a company in US, they used to give job to an Indian company, they used to outsource in India, and the Indian company used to employ engineers like you, and used to get salary from the Indian company. and how this, like Infosys grew, like Wipro grew, right? In this scenario, the US company, the US dollar versus Indian rupees, this difference was huge, and that's how these IT companies made their fortunes and even got good salaries. But now what they are doing through GCC is they are not giving their job as an outsourcing. So they are directly setting up GCCs here in India. So far there are more than 1,800 GCCs in India, and now it will touch in few years 2,100 in few years now from now. Advantage, the outsourced companies, like the local companies, they will lose business, of course. Everything has got a pros and cons, right? But the resources, you will be working directly for the GCC companies, which are multinational most often, naturally. So your paychecks will be much better than salaries. Reason, this profit earlier used to go to those intermediate or those companies, those who are Indian companies, but directly they will give you an employment. Of course, in India, you will not get it in dollar, but the amount is pretty high because they will have their mindset the US salary, so whatever they will get it here, it will be much more than what you could have got in joining any Indian origin company. Now that's bad for entrepreneurs in India, especially IT, of course, but their business will have to have a good fight. But it's a fair market, everybody should face this competition the way or the other. Like there are other threats also. What is the other threats? All the companies in India, for example, my 50% employees, not 50%, 40-45% employees of mine, they are not from West Bengal. They are from everywhere. Even I have employees in Poland, because I found Eastern European people are much cheaper and much better at times than I hire a senior guy in India. Because the cost in India has got tremendous. A 10 years experience architect software in India will cost me minimum 5 lakhs a month. I'll get it in $3,000, $4,000, which is 3 lakhs a month. So I'll save a lot. Why should I hire Indians? That is another challenge for you guys. So of course, there is a good side, there is a bad side. But overall, more GCC, more job for you. Which will, have you seen the last part? Employing 2.5 to 2 million people only in GCC, which is a big thing. So 1800 GCC is not joke. 2000 GCC means huge. I think I'm approaching time, so fast. Which engineering discipline do you think will be most impacted by AI in the next 10 years? What do you think about this? More balanced, the answer is very skewed. So together IT and computer science has taken 80%. It's interesting. It will not be the case, honestly speaking. It will not be the case. See, we have to know where this ICT is being implemented, which will grow. ICT is implemented in non-ICT companies also, and that is where the business is generated from. So those industries will fly because ICT will be implemented there. Right? So if you say the computer science, of course there will be, but others also will not stay behind. It will be more or less everything. They will grow all together. This will not be that skewed. This is an easy question. What do you think India ranks in terms of the IT services export globally? What is India's rank in IT services export? $194 billion, it was in 2023, which is around 7.7% of GDP of India. So, by the way, I'm not spending more time on this. The answer is, of course, number one first. This is not good. Hard? No, India is number one first, by the way. Which of these sectors in India do you think benefits most from ICT advancements? Which sector? Just write it, whatever we think you think. Very quickly. We already discussed a lot of sectors. Capture most of them. Great. I'll move to the next. We are approaching to the future skills, the needed skills by industry, not industry in general, the trade. Now, as per you, what are the job roles do you think will be most interesting for the future? Those will not be, don't go for that job unless you are very much interested in those. I mean, because now with agentic AI, the difference is agentic AI writes its own prompt. So you don't really need a prompt. So as I said, the paradigm is changing so fast. Stick to the basics, everything will be absolutely fine and continue. Good. What do you think is the most important skill for a future-ready engineer? As an engineer, what do you think will be the most important skill? Good answer. Just to tell you, basic skills, of course, communication is important very well. That's required because if you cannot understand and you cannot make others understand what you want to say is difficult for anything. But of course, the basics again, mathematics is very much required. Those core skills, core subjects, those skills are very much required. So I'll go to the next. Thank you for quick responses. And this is again the trend for growth opportunities as per mostly this data is published in Gartner and other research organization. So the cloud is one which will be dominating a lot. Whatever you do, right from a normal web hosting to a cloud computing to anything. So that's going to be always there and for long. Data, of course, be it a Gen AI or any kind of an AI, IML will be there. digital content related services, as I was telling earlier, immersive technologies including AR, VR and XR, right? Those will be there. IoT, of course, including IoT, Industry 4.0, that will lead the engineering industry. Enterprise network services, which will grow because of the demand for the bandwidth more and more and connectivity required, including wireless and wired both. The 5G example I gave you, the private 5G, which was mentioning about PLTE, which is private 5G. Of course, content center solutions and unified communications. These are categorized as the opportunities in the skills for the future. Very quickly, now I think 2 or 3 slides are there. I will just touch upon what NASSCOM does. NASSCOM does what you know about what NASSCOM does. Actually, NASSCOM does all these 4. It does policy advocacy. So be it a state government or central government, NASSCOM helps India and state governments to make their IT policies, startup policies. So that is one of our core skills. Other than that, we have a startup program. Anybody, if you have an idea, you initially might get in IIC or in your university or college here. But if you feel most welcome, we have an incubation center, of course free for students. They will be mentored, you will be assigned mentors, you will be given industry experience, you will be given investor connect as well. So this program, earlier it used to be called 10,000 startups. So we have recently renamed it as NASSCOM startups. You are most welcome. Anybody having some idea with a small MVP, if you have, that's good. Even if you do not have, feel free if you've got an idea in ideation stage or some kind of a pilot. So any stage if you are in, if you want to give a try in making your own startup, feel free to contact us. Skill development is another area NASSCOM is working for quite long. We have got a portal, NASSCOM Future Skill Prime, so which has all the emerging technologies. So this you guys can register, and there are mostly free content unless you want to have a certificate. For that a minimum amount might be required, but this is accessible, so you can go and register yourself to access that. And for entrepreneurs, other than the incubation, what we support global market expansion. For example, if you have opened a startup here and you want to grow to say UAE market, any market, so NASSCOM will help you to grow there. There are delegations NASSCOM arranges, we arrange one chunk of people go there in those cities. We've got connects, we connect to the buyers, we connect to the customers, prospects of course. Then it's your own, quality that you can close those. But at least NASSCOM gives you the connect to those ecosystem. Last thing, do you think India, I think last but one, do you think India can become the global leader in IT and emerging technologies by 2023? 2037. This is really difficult to answer, Though you are very optimistic, that's really great. We can only do it if we really focus on creating, if we really focus on innovation. Have you wondered, even companies like Microsoft, they have got a research center in China but not in India. Why? We are not born here, we have not become engineers to do service jobs, right? Somebody's support. A big company in US, there are thousands of employees, they are doing the research, and here, people are doing support job, technical support they call it, with the big names. India will never grow. This engineering will never be engineers, real engineers. At least the core industries are much better than that. At least they are doing good job. But if you want to stick to ICT, honestly speaking, innovate. Can you believe in India, such a big country, and there is no single product? Lately there are some products are coming up, but that is mostly being used in India, like Joho and all. But what product, can you name one product like Adobe or SQL or anything, Oracle or any product? which is having a global footprint? Zero. I'm so surprised. So many big companies, they have earned billions, trillions. They do all these philanthropic things, but they don't do research things. And that is a sad. I mean, that's the most pathetic thing to know. Big, very big, giant companies, global giant, zero product. It's funny. This is really, really, really funny. You know, there's a Java ID Eclipse or something, I forgot. Yeah, I think Eclipse or something. That the whole, they used to have a huge revenue, and the whole India, the whole world, their employees are only 60 plus people. And they're not even having an office. They're earning millions per month. Because the product, there's no product in ICT. Be it in engineering, be it in pure IT, tech. Now things are changing slowly. So again, I would request, don't concentrate your future in short-term gains, but really think, if you can really innovate, you will get the prize one day or other. So this is a thought for all. I mean, honestly, I feel frustrated when I see companies are doing things, a lot of things, a lot of employee philanthropic activities, but not, there's no patents, for example. How many patents we have in India? It's funny in India, and now this year China has crossed US. Now US is a big shoe. 2 weeks back, US, and on top of that, they have sliced the research fund to 15% across all sectors. Do you know what it implies? I don't know. Already Johns Hopkins has sued the government because their school is going to get closed and they have to be all dependent on the private things. I know this is a global phenomenon maybe, but India, at least if we, whatever our capabilities are, we should create, right? We should create patents. Innovations are the future, and that's the only way we can survive. People say Indians are great brain. If you ask any European, honestly, they think most of the, like a French guy you ask, they say they are good for, like they are robots. I mean, they are good. Well, yes, we had, earlier it was not there. We were the best mathematicians. We still are, but we are utilizing the thing in a different purpose. And the IT job that India does mostly, I am telling mostly, of course, can be done by a non-engineer better than anybody else. We don't need engineers to do that. I'm sorry to say that, but I think this in India needs to change this way. If really wants to, if you want to really answer this with 164 yes and 42 no, then we have to go that way. Otherwise, gradually we lose in competition to Poland. We lose in competition in a lot of small, Eastern European companies. You won't believe. Maximum data scientist concentrations are one country, Brazil. Yes, it's true. People are coming up, and we will not. Vietnam, you see, this is growing like a enormous thing. They're smart, guys. Indonesia, even Southeast Asia, these countries are going up. India, because service is not a solution for long run. That you can take my prediction very much. So prepare yourself. Have knowledge, not information. So how many of you are interested in working in ICT industry? After so many negative words? No, please, I mean, that's not negative, that's how you keep everything considered, right? Okay, absolutely. Good. The sea is increasing. I want to explore other fields. That's interesting. You might use ICT as a tool, a companion, but you are solving actually some good problem. Good. This is a good answer. I like it. So you are balanced. Great. This is one tech buzzword which confuses you most in the current? So many things are being, you hear about blockchain, you hear about agentic AI, you hear about anything. Good. Any questions? Any questions?
I'm Shishmi Dubey, a third year student from IT department.
Let me locate you.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you so much for such knowledgeable as well as interactive session. We have enjoyed a lot in these slides. So my question to you is that India has become a major player in global IT industry. So sorry, sir. The question was that India has become a major player in the global IT industry. So what are the driving factors behind this success according to you?
Service. Only one. Service and the money, exchange value. Of course, service. It was best service.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Sashwata Banerjee, finally MBA student. Thank you, sir, for being here. So I would like to ask you that what initiative is being implemented by NASSCOM to foster innovation in the entrepreneurship on the ICT sector of the Indian economy, all over India as a nation.
Yeah, that's exactly. We have renamed or we have changed our focus from IT to B.Tech. So IT is a subset of B.Tech these days, right? But the B.Tech is our focus. Even for that matter, we are not in our incubation. We are preferring B.Tech companies, right? Engineering companies, those utilizing ICT to build something on this thing. It is more towards technology now we are supporting. So NASSCOM has changed its focus from pure information technology or software towards technology.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody? What are your views of ICT in the financial service sector? Lots, huge. See, in finance is such a big thing. It is all controlled by ICT. Be it normal retail banking, to even, you have heard about a role called actuarials. Those are actuarial science. Those insurance companies, they do a lot of, prediction, or rather they identify a lot of, for example, when you go to buy car insurance, there are different options that you get. Who makes them? Those are strong mathematics behind, strong data science behind this, right? So in fintech is the area which is one of the largest growing sector in the tech industry. And it is in every stage of it, right from the customer acquisition to the service to loan, every field of it. So that's a huge.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Priyarani from 3rd year CSE department. Thank you for sharing this. I would like to ask you that what are the key global trends in the ICT industry and how do you see them shaping the future of India's IT sector?
Yeah, so currently India's IT sector is serving the global ICT market, correct? Mainly in the service industry. And that is what I mentioned in one of my slides, right? What are the areas, right? In the AI, in blockchain, and some of the areas. For example, in future, cloud computing, those are the emerging areas that will come. But for India, what India should do, and have started doing already, as I mentioned about NASSCOM, is already trying. So to change our focus towards innovation, towards creating something more tangible, instead of only concentrating on service delivery, we should embrace the other areas which will have a future growth. Of course, we are not throwing out our service. That is earning the biggest export money for India. I mean, how can I ignore it? How can anybody ignore it? That is not bad, right? But we are losing. And in future, in order to make ourselves future ready, we have to now focus on innovation also, which was not so much earlier. Now this is the new focus.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody?
Hello. Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your insightful thoughts on today's discussion. I am Shamali Bose from third year ECE department. My question is, as the ICT sector evolves with new emerging technologies, what measures should be taken in order to ensure that the Indian workforce can be adaptable and future ready?
That's a good question. As in this area, the universities and institutions will play a lot of role. Even you yourself, everybody at every level. See, one part of engagement is to know the emerging technologies, where the trend is. Now there are few interventions. For example, one of the way of knowing it through entrepreneurship. Not everybody has to be entrepreneur, but while going through this cycle, for example, there is a program called IIC, I guess, Institute Innovation Council. So their students are engaged to think of different ideas, presenting it. So for that, you have to have some knowledge of the emerging technologies, apply that, and that gives you a kind of an eye-openerness. But to me, that is, of course, there are a lot of initiatives like this. But honestly, if you ask me what is the direct measure, of course, one of them is the revenue from export, that is more. Second is the number of patents, the impact on research field, how much it's impacting. And third is very important, the technology import. India imports a lot of technology, So if we can do our homegrown, for example, for defense, we depend a lot still now on the outsiders. So though that is another parameter by which we can know if we are having homegrown technology, which are producing those technology components or machines or whatever is required for our own consumption instead of depending on importing them. So that is another factor of measuring it.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. I am Samitra from Civil Engineering Department, and my question is, how can Indian companies tap into emerging markets, and what role do engineers play in this global expansion?
Yeah, as I said, Indian market, ICT industry, the students will have to play the only basic role is to get themselves prepared, right? And how you prepare yourself? You have to prepare yourself by concentrating on the basics. So have your basics done, basics clear, and of course, then you will understand the emerging technologies more, and you adapt those for your purpose of job, study, everything. And that is the only way. You should know what's happening. See, everybody should spend 5 to 10 minutes every day in 2 websites. I used to do it for maybe last how many years I forgot, but every day I spend 5 minutes up to 10 minutes in 2 websites. Mostly one, which is lens.org. You know, every day the patents are being filed, you will see a glimpse of those. That's it. That you know where the technology is going. Or Google patents. You don't have to search it, and it will not come in search easily. You don't have to do ChatGPT, nothing. Every day is like newspaper. You open Google patents and see the new patents being filed. And that's it. And if you read the even abstract, then you know what's being patented are going to come after 3 years in the market or 4 years. Now that's an area where you will be much ahead of the market to know, yes, this is coming. Let me see. What's this? Then know the history of it. Then you are prepared to learn. Learning is important, but before you really learn and know a technology, you should prepare yourself, right? And this is the best way to prepare yourself. Spend few minutes, not much. Search, see, read, forget. It will be there in your mind. And that's the only way I do, and I can suggest this. 5 minutes every day in lens.org and Google Patents for technology guys.
Thank you, sir.
A very good afternoon, sir. I am Sucharita Paul, a final year MCA student. Thank you for sharing your speech with us. My question is, what support system does NASSCOM provide us for the young professionals and students to help them gain real-world experience and connect with industry leaders?
See, there are NASSCOM couple of things. For example, one is we have a future skill prime learning portal. There we provide the content in the emerging technologies, that is for skill development. For entrepreneurship development, we have got the incubation center. For industry connect, every month we do at least 2 to 3 programs. So if you can keep an eye, if you are interested to connect to NASSCOM, they will let you know what's happening. You can join as a student to see there are talks on maybe privacy, data privacy, or there was a talk in security, there was a talk in blockchain. So a lot of industry people will come, they will gather, and these are the small seminars and conferences. And those last half days. So you can join those. Even it happens in the weekdays sometimes. Okay.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, thank you for being here. My question is, how NASSCOM bridges the gap between industry requirement and our academic learning for those who are pursuing careers in ICT?
See, that's not the backward integration and forward integration from NASSCOM, that's what we do. Our members are entrepreneurs, businessmen, industry, correct? Like, I am not NASSCOM employee. I am, for example, I hold the chair position, but actually I am an entrepreneur. I have got my own business, right? I have software companies. So imagine like our whole NASSCOM community is having these entrepreneurs. Right? So that's the industry representative, correct? What we are doing, so we know what industry does. That NASSCOM knows it pretty well. Based on that experience, we suggest the government to do policy work. We help them in policy making. Another stakeholder is institution. There are programs for institutions with which NASSCOM partners and suggest different things and do different things together to improve the ecosystem. And last but not the least, the most important ecosystem is which is the backward integration, which are the students. So NASSCOM starts them from incubation centers like IIC or skill development, even at the student level. In fact, this NASSCOM Prime skill in this particular portal, Future Skill Prime, which is being used in Bengal, I think more than already few lakh students are already onboarded on that, and that's growing. So that's how we start from the student and then integrate them in the bigger ecosystem. I think in the interest of time, can we...
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. So 2 more questions, please. So we've done this good. Please 2 more questions.
Sir, thank you for being here. I would like to ask...
Just 1 second. There's a question somebody is asking from here. Just 1 second, ma'am. Yeah.
And you were saying that you are
Only
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to ask, what are the current challenges that India is facing in the ICT market globally, and how can we overcome those challenges to remain competitive on the global stage?
very good question. I answer part of it. So the challenges is we are losing competitiveness, and that's a real truth. As I said, and I prefer to hire from, other countries, especially countries which are cheaper than India, like Eastern European countries. We get very strong, smart mathematics background, engineers, very strong basics. And now this is a big challenge. And second challenge is, of course, we are looking competition, not much for knowledge, because Indians are quite knowledgeable, good enough for IT or any kind of, but is the pricing. India's IT pricing in the areas which is getting pretty much competitive nature. We are losing ground in comparison. I mean, when we compete with countries like Poland, Indonesia, Vietnam, and all. So that's the main challenge that India is facing. So in terms of the global market capture and the resources being working for the global companies. And the second area is, of course, innovation, because the service is now getting automatized. See, earlier they used to have call centers. Now they are replacing the call centers with agentic AI kind of a thing. Now, the moment that happens, a lot of India's IT and BPM companies, they will have direct impact or indirect impact. So now they have to go more in innovation. So the challenge and the solution lies within the challenge. So based on that, you don't have much option other than innovate. And that's the only option you have. Innovate.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think...
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. This is Shruti from Computer Science and Design Department. And my question to you is that how and what according to you that student and freshers graduates can transition effectively into the ICT industry?
That's an industry age-old question, everybody. When I was also afraid when I landed to the industry first. There are steps you can do for internship. That's very much important to do an internship, not theoretically sitting at remote. No. Honestly, go get. If you don't get, there are. In fact, I was just sharing with that we in NASSCOM we have taken some initiative to offer internship through our MSME and other government bodies. MSME in India, Bengal is a huge MSME. Is number one in terms of number of MSMEs, 8.8 million MSMEs. So they are, deploying the students to some of the MSME clusters. There were 563 clusters in Bengal, distributed in 23 districts. So that is one way. You do internship. And second is, that is one way you will be bridging the gap a bit before you land up in the industry. And the second option, again, back to basics. Like we have your basics clear, honestly speaking. They don't want ready people. They want basics ready people. They don't want future ready people because that is difficult for them to learn. Got it? Get your basics clear, and that's what you need.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for your patience.
Thank you all. I hope you all have enjoyed Sanjay's deliberations and it has been very useful to you also. because of the paucity of time, we had to, stop the program in a short while. Those who are interested to interact with him can do it offline also, right? He is available for another 10-15 minutes time. Okay, so before we go to the next event, I just thought of sharing with you. Once two software engineers decided to visit some tourist destination in the sea beach, right? So they were there. One of them was swimming in the sea, and suddenly he started shouting F1, 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 F1. Nobody understood what is F1, why is he shouting F1? And his friend was on the bank. He was saying Control Z, Control Z, Control Z and all, right? So nobody was understanding, but the lifesavers, they finally rescued that person who was, drowning. And he was brought to the bank, and then those rescuers were beating the person who was telling Control Z and all. So while he was being beaten, he was saying F1, 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 and the person who was rescued was being said Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Those who understand F1 is help, Control Z is undo. Okay? So, with this small thing, I just want to request Dr. Sanjay Pawar to come onto the stage and felicitate Sri Sanjay Chatterjee and also to deliver the vote of thanks.
Allow me to introduce sir. Allow me to introduce. Mukhopadhyay sir has been a guiding force for this particular event. Throughout the entire program, he played a pivotal role. So we have something for him also as a token of appreciation. Sir, I would request you to...
Yeah, I'll make a bit short. Thanks a lot, sir. In fact, there are many takeaways for all of us here, me as a principal, faculty members as well as students. Looking towards the futuristic view and ensuring our basics are quite clear, so that these are only the 3 steps for us as an engineer to go ahead. And I'm sure the information that sir had given to all of us, each of us would take the opportunities and the benefits of what NASSCOM is offering to us, and then continue with our journey from the futuristic perspective. Thank you all.
Attention please. For my dear colleagues and my dear students, there are some small refreshments waiting at downstairs. Please go and have it. Thank you.
কি বলতো ডিপার্টমেন্ট থেকে যদি কোনো ছেলে না আসে ডিপার্টমেন্ট করে দেবে তবে বেশি রয় বেশি
Thank you.